This happens to be a topic that I talk a lot about with some of the people in my Discord and my community, so I wanted to share my thoughts around this. So, you need social interaction, and then you interact, but then you get overwhelmed, and then you isolate, and then you get lost in your own thoughts, and then overthink, and so on, right? So it's this cycle. And now, few things I want to say about this. Number one, I heard some people refer to this as a visibility hangover, right? I work with a lot of people who run businesses, and businesses need to promote themselves in the form of marketing, right? But the people I work with usually tend to be small businesses, so like they're solo entrepreneurs, and that means they have to be visible. They have to put themselves out into the world like I'm doing, but not everybody is, feels as comfortable as me doing so. So and the ages of these people I work with like vary like greatly, right? So this phenomenon is not just for like a certain age group, like the visibility hangover and that kind of like overwhelm that you feel from a social context is fairly common. So number one point I want to make is you're not alone if you are experiencing this. Number two, it this tends to happen because you're not conscious. I'm talking specifically about the interacts with people and then getting to the overwhelmed part. So it's like you're watching YouTube as you're eating alone, right? You're not consciously eating, so you have a tendency to overeat. Or when you're drinking and you're having a good time, you're having such a good time, you're not consciously monitoring your alcohol intake, so you get too drunk. So, in the social interactions, from the pauses and the like when conversations naturally go to a certain phase or even missed in the midst of talking, you want to stay conscious of how am I feeling right now. Am I feeling comfortable enough? Am I getting the social interactions I want? So that can get into the overthinking area, but the knowledge that you have of being aware of how I am feeling right now is a starting point, because that point needs to come so that you can make decisions from that place. So, in the case of overthinking, you become aware first, but at this point, your unconscious habit is to overthink, right? So, in order to catch ourselves overthinking, we have to catch ourselves first before we get overwhelmed. So, um, staying alert and staying conscious of how you are feeling, how the conversation is going, what's around you, like kind of like you're meditating. You're kind of noting things and you are awake the whole time. That will help you go not cross over to the getting overwhelmed part. And the other third point I want to make is that when you go out to have a social interaction, it's nice to have some intention set so that once you fulfill that, you know you're full, so to speak. And then you can sort of terminate and then go home and, let that be. So when you go into a conversation, what kind of conversations do you want to have with people? Do you want to have deep conversations, or is your goal to make a lot of small talk that day to get some like energy off of as many people as possible? These are things you can choose ahead of time. So need social interactions to interact with people. If there's a step of consciousness there, that can also help you as well.